Time for our Travel Thursday segment. And this is a conversation every week that helps you narrow down on the places that you'd like to visit, your bucket list, so to speak. And today we're going to talk about an island off the coast of Africa. You might have heard of it, or it may in fact be completely new to you. Zanzibar is what we're going to be speaking about. It is part of Tanzania, and it is something that I'm very interested in. To talk about this is Ankita Kumar, a traveler and filmmaker. Thank you so much, Ankita, for taking the time. Let me first ask you why. Why Zanzibar, and what was your experience with it?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, first of all. And I'm so glad that we chose Zanzibar as a destination because it's absolutely breathtaking. And like you said, it's a super exotic place. It sounds really like even just the way it sounds is so exciting. So it's been on my list for a very long time, actually. And I've been to Tanzania before, by the way. I was there when I was just about like maybe 16, 15 or 16. And we had just done like Serengeti and that stretch with my parents. So it was a very like cushioned holiday of sorts, with my parents. And we did the safari and we saw like the big five, which is the lions and the hippos and the cheetahs and like some really exciting animals. But at that point, we didn't really have the liberty to go down to Zanzibar because we were short on time. So actually, I had done like a small live session with the Zanzibar tourism in during the pandemic when everything was shut, and we had really gone into the depths of what Zanzibar had to offer. So as soon as the world opened up, as soon as Zanzibar opened up, I was like, must do it. And another huge reason was that there's visa on arrival for Indians, so it's a very easy process, and the flight tickets are also pretty cheap. But yeah, I think the biggest reason were the pristine blue beaches and just the name Zanzibar.
No, certainly the name, but some of the pictures that I'm seeing on the screen, the water looks absolutely gorgeous. Talk to us about the journey. What are you said that it's not too expensive, visa on arrival, so all convenient. How much do you normally spend getting there? How do you get there?
So the best way to get there is maybe have a layover in Oman. So incidentally, they used to have direct flights, but I think because of the pandemic, they kind of stopped it. So you have like maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours to go to Oman. There's like a 2 hour layover, which is pretty decent. And then another maybe say 4 to 5 hours to Zanzibar directly. So you land in Zanzibar and then the flight goes to Dar es Salaam. So you literally touch Tanzania through Zanzibar and then you go into the capital. So it's slightly closer also. And it roughly costed me about, say, 60,000 return, which I thought was pretty decent considering the pandemic prices and the fact that it is a lesser visited island.
Understood. Yeah, one would think that, yes. I'm guessing that once things open up, perhaps the costs could be even lower. But once you get there, the first and the most important question, I think, in this situation is how many days should you budget for? And because you don't want to go to a place like that and not do justice to it, right?
Absolutely. So I was torn between doing like 7 to 7 days or maybe a little more. I stuck to 7 days because I was like, okay, let me just get a feel of what Zanzibar is like and then maybe see. But yeah, I would say that 7 days is a good enough time. And if you really want to squeeze in some, just relaxed time of doing nothing. And as you said, like the beaches are pristine, like they're blue as they come, right? So I would definitely say that between 7 to 10 days is a great time. And I would also suggest going a little bit off season. Like now is a great time to go because you still have a little bit of showers during the day, but it's just about like an hour or two a day, and it's very less crowd because of the fact that it's off season, so it's very less crowded, and it's kind of cheaper as well. So I think this would be a good time to go to Zanzibar.
Okay. Okay, so talk to us about the places within Zanzibar, within the archipelago. Where do you stay? Do you go to different places or do you just park yourself and enjoy the beach?
So again, depends on what kind of a holiday you're looking for. I wanted to pack things and also have like a bit of a chill time. So I would suggest that if you're interested in activities, like for instance, we did this beautiful thing where we swam with turtles. It's actually a center where the injured turtles come in, and it's very nicely taken care of, and there's like a very minimal charge of just like $10 to go spend time with them. So activities like that. There was also bungee jumping, by the way, which I did for the first time ever in my life. And honestly, I was a little skeptical because it was a place like Zanzibar, so you're not really sure because it's not like the usual Dubai or New Zealand or Australia to do it, but it was absolutely breathtaking. So yeah, so if you want to do activities like that, I would definitely suggest staying in the northern part of Zanzibar, because one problem that we kind of faced was transportation, because there are not really like too many public transportation is not really readily available, so you have to hire a car. So I would definitely suggest staying in the north of Zanzibar, finishing all the activities, and then kind of making your way down south, so that you can chill on the southern beaches. So yeah, I would definitely suggest stay in the north for like say 3 or 4 days, do all your activities there, and then make your way down south to just chill.
Is it expensive to book hotels? What kind of a budget would you need to keep on a daily basis? If you're talking about a week, how much would an individual normally spend?
So that's a very good question. I would say that Zanzibar is somewhere in the middle of a Goa and a Maldives. So you have the Maldivian beautiful like blue beaches and blue sea and like white sand beaches and these super luxury properties, but there are also places like guest houses and little hotels that you can stay at, which are not that expensive. So what I would suggest is the days that you're doing, your activities and all of that, maybe stay in a budget place because you're already doing so many things, you're out most of the day. And then when you're kind of chilling and you just want like a nice private beach to yourself, that's when you kind of splurge and you go to the south of Zanzibar and stay in the fancy places there. So again, like mine was a mix. So I would definitely say that it's great to keep aside say about 1.5 lakhs. I think that would be a good enough like spending this thing for Zanzibar. I think that would be decent. And of course, you can always go up. Like if your budget is a little higher and you are okay to splurge a little bit, then the properties in Zanzibar are amazing. Like each of them that we went to were absolutely amazing. So yeah, maybe a balance of the two, and maybe say 1.5 is what you should keep aside.
Okay, so that's actually not a very high. Of course, I mean, you go to any of these places and you can go full tilt, right? You can
Yep.
have
Yep.
the full luxury experience. But it's good to know that if you are on a bit of a budget, you can still have a good time. What can you tell us about the culture and the cuisine there? Because that's something that I think will be a determining factor for a lot of people looking to go there.
So, actually, the cuisine is amazing. It's very inspired by Indian cuisine, by the way. They have pulao. They have something called pilau, which is basically pulao. So, it's like flavored rice, and you usually have it with curry, which is, again, like a very Indian influence. So, a lot of the people there, especially like all the resorts and everything, are actually owned by Gujaratis. Because this was the spice route. The trade route was like this. This was the spice route back in the day. So, a lot of Gujaratis came from India and they settled in Zanzibar. So you hear a lot of Gujarati as well. And it was really surprising because suddenly there would be like this person who doesn't look like he's from India, and he would just start like talking in like absolutely pristine Gujarati. So it was quite confusing. So yeah, the food is very inspired by Indian. I think the palate is also very Indian. There's spicy, there's sour, there's salt, there's all sort of like explosion of flavors. The local food was really tasty actually, and there's a local market in the old town, which is like the most beautiful part of Zanzibar. In terms of like tourist so you have like your bars and your restaurants and all of that, and that has a local market called Forodhani, which opens only at night, say about 3 or 4 hours, and that has some really cheap and very very nice food. But keep in mind that Zanzibarians are very used to tourism, so everything is inflated, right? From like things that you buy on the beach to even food in the local market. Like they can really fleece you if you don't know your stuff. So I would definitely suggest if you go to Forodhani, also negotiate on the food.
Okay, that's very good in terms of tips, right? What do you need to bear in mind in terms of currency? How much do you take with you? And is it easy to convert? And also, local transport, what do you need to bear in mind?
Right. So, in terms of local currency, is the Tanzanian shillings, and they also accept dollars. By the way, that's like a regular thing. So, I would suggest if you're going just for a week, maybe carry dollars with you from India because that's just the easiest thing to do, and then just use dollars there and keep a little bit, like convert a little bit, maybe at the airport or at Stone Town. Just convert a tiny little bit so that you can just do your small transactions in Tanzanian shillings. In terms of local transport, like I said, it's a little like it's a little tough in terms of local transport because everybody just has like their own transport there, but you can hire bikes. Like you can go like say, what is that app in India? I forget. So but basically you can hire like motorbikes to kind of take you around, but that's only in touristy places. So if you go to like the farther north or like further south down, then it's a little bit tough. So I would suggest if you're planning to move around a lot between like the north and south part of Zanzibar, then hire your own vehicle. And yeah, so you have like the flexibility. But otherwise, if you just want to move around the touristy parts, you can just rent a bike.
Yeah, and I'm also guessing that where you're staying, they might be able to help you book a mode of transport if you need that. But thank you so much for taking the time, Ankita. Really a pleasure speaking with you, and you've painted a lovely picture for all of us.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's always a pleasure to be here.